Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to start setting up our ad set. And the primary goal of this specific lecture is going to be to install the Meta Pixel. Now, what the Meta Pixel is, why we need it, how it works, and even more importantly, how to install it. I'm going to show you all of that step by step when we get there. But let's start off from the very beginning by starting to set up our ad set. Now, if you've been following along from the previous lecture, you should have been setting up your ad campaign already. And if you're watching this course and you're sort of just watching me without following what I do step by step on screen, I strongly recommend that you actually follow along with me on screen and do everything that I do. Because at the end of this course, you are going to have the entire strategy set up and running. Even if you don't yet completely understand how it works, it's going to make more sense to you as we go along here. So remember, we've done all of our actions and decisions in the ad campaign, such as we've set our goal and we've set our campaign budget. And that means that this ad set is now ruled by that budget. Now we're going to set up our ad set, and that means that that is going to be the rules and decisions that's going to be deciding over the ad creatives that we're going to be setting up later on. So the first thing we're going to do in here is give it an ad set name. Now the name we're going to give this ad set is going to be winners. The reason for that is that in this strategy, we're going to have one ad set where we put all of the ad creative winners. So we're going to be testing a lot of different ad creatives. And remember, an ad creative is the actual ad that the Facebook users will see. We're going to be having a lot of different videos, different headlines, different iterations. Some of those are going to be profitable. Some of those are not going to be profitable. Those who aren't profitable, we are going to be turning off and deleting those ad creatives. Those that are profitable, we are going to be taking those ad creatives and putting it into this specific ad set. So we're going to have one ad set specifically for winners, and winners meaning all of your ad creatives that are profitable. And then we're going to have other ad sets that's going to be for testing, where we're searching for the winners. Again, if this doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. It will make a lot more sense as we go through the process and set everything up, and you can see exactly how this works. So let's move on. We know that this ad set is about the winner specifically. Now, scrolling down, the next decision we need to make is going to be about the conversion. A conversion is the desired action that you want your visitors to take. A conversion could be a sale, it could be a lead, it could be a link click. Pretty much what you want the visitors to do, that actual doing is going to be the conversion. Now remember, in the campaign, we set direct to offer. We want them to buy our product. And the product that we're trying to sell in this case is our complete digital marketing bundle, 22 courses in one. So when they go here and they click on add to cart and then check out and purchase it, or when they click on PayPal and check out and actually purchase the course, that is when we deem them as a conversion. So the different choices are we looking to drive conversions, meaning sales in our case on our website? Then we're going to choose this one. Are we looking to do it through an app? Then it's going to be this choice. Are we looking at a website and app? This choice. Messaging app, then is this choice. And you can use chatbots in order to accomplish this. And remember, Meta owns both WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. So there's a lot of different strategies that can be used here. And then you can do it through phone calls as well. Now, for most of you and for me as well, is going to be website. This is where we do all of our ads. This is where most of the people do ads. And there is strategies for everything, but this is truly the true and tried. So we're going to stick with driving all of our sales on a website, and the website that I just showed you in this case. Scrolling down, we have the Meta Pixel. So what actually is the Meta Pixel? Well, a Meta Pixel is a piece of code that you place on your website that allows you to track your visitors. This is so important because remember what I told you. In this ad set, we're going to put all of the winning ad creatives. Well, the only way to know if an ad creative is profitable or not is to track people from when they click on your ad all the way to when they purchased your product. So that way, if you're running a test on, say, 20 different ad creatives, then you want to know which of those ad creatives are driving sales and which are not driving sales. And the only way to find that out is by tracking. So you want to turn all of the non-profitable ad creatives off, and you want to save all of the profitable ad ad creatives and put them into the winner ad set. And the only way to do that is by tracking people. Now, a quick caveat here, if you've been running Facebook before, you'll know that the meta pixel also allows you to save the information about your visitors. So everyone that has bought your product before, you can save them into one audience and then target that audience with a new ad and sell a new product. This is called retargeting, and it used to be very popular. Since Apple released iOS 14, that sort of tracking is almost completely dead. iOS 14 made sure that tracking people long term is almost impossible. So that means that those strategies don't really work anymore. So instead of leveraging the pixel for save down audiences, we're going to be leveraging the Facebook algorithm and their trillions of data points on billions of people to target very openly and finding your customers through their algorithm, because they've spent a lot more time and money on their algorithm than you're going to have on your audience that you're going to be saving down here. So it's a really good transition to make. So if you've been doing Facebook ads before, know that those strategies don't really work anymore today. So with that said, let's install our tracking, and all we're gonna do is go down and click on Create Pixel. Then we're gonna name our pixel, and this is for your eyes only, so it's not super important. I'm gonna call it Robin and Jesper's Business Test Pixel. I'm gonna use the word test here because remember, we're running a new account from scratch. It just makes sense for us. For you, it should really just be either the business name, or if you're a business and you're running multiple websites, it should be the website's name primarily. Just make sure that you know where you're installing your pixel and you can keep a track of it. And then we're gonna click on Create Pixel. And then we're going to grab the URL of our site. And while we're going to be sending people to this page, which is the product page where they can buy our product, now the pixel is asking for what is the website that we own, so that they can recognize it. And if you look at the URL, it's not going to be the entire URL. It's just going to be our domain. So I'm going to copy everything from here, copy it, and then paste it in here, and then click on check. Now I'm getting the integrate with WordPress option right here. And if you're running a Shopify or if you're running some other program, you are going to get that integration. And all you need to do is just make sure that it's checked and then click on next. So what we're going to do is that we're going to install a plugin for Facebook. Now recognize that it has a really low rating, and I believe it still does today, but that is because most of the functions in there aren't really that effective. But we're only going to be using it to install the pixel, so don't worry about it because it works perfectly for the pixel. So we're going to go into the back end of our WordPress website, and remember, if you're running a Shopify or you're running something else, just follow those instructions. This is really straightforward. We're going to go down to plugins and click on add new. Then I'm simply going to search for Facebook for WordPress. And here it is. And as you can see, the rating is really bad. And I've checked out these reviews, and I know it's for adding the catalog and doing dynamic retargeting with the catalog ads. There's a lot of functions here that's not very effective, but for the pixel, it's very straightforward and easy. So don't stress about this. So I'm going to click on install and then activate. Okay, awesome. Plugin activated, so let's head back. We followed the 1, 2, 3. We clicked on the plugin, add new, Facebook for WordPress, install, and activate. Now let's click on next. So we're gonna go into settings, choose Facebook, and then get started. So let's do that. Now here's where things get a little funny. If we go into settings, we're gonna see that there's actually no Facebook there, but rather it's gonna be up here in marketing. So some things change, places change, even Facebook don't always keep up with their own updates. So when you see things in slightly different places, just know that Facebook changes things all the time. It doesn't mean anything is outdated. It mainly just means that they're trying a new interface and they will update later on. So for me, it's in marketing. For you, it might actually be in settings or in marketing as well. And then I'm gonna go into Facebook and then click on get started. I'm going to log in with my personal account. And since I'm selling a product here, I'm not going to be connecting my pixel. It's going to be integrating the Facebook with WooCommerce. Now, WooCommerce is the specific program that I'm using to sell the product. For you, again, it might be a different product. It might be a completely different program overall. It doesn't matter. Just follow the instructions, make sure everything is installed, and then it's going to be automated. And then I'm just going to go through this setup to make sure that I've selected the correct manager accounts and selected the right Facebook page, etc. And for now, we're just going to click on skip connecting to Instagram because we're going to do that later on as we're setting up our ad. And then we're going to click on continue. And then they're going to require us to set up a catalog, which actually we don't need and we're not going to use, but we still need to set one up to continue. So I'm just going to click on create new. I'm just going to have a name, click on continue, and then click on continue again. Because once again, we are going to be selecting our own product with our own link. This is a different strategy, but it's not the one we're going to use. And from what I've seen, it's not very effective from my experience and from the students person's experience. So I'm going to click on continue here. And now we need the ad account number. So if we go back to where we're getting all of these instructions, we're going to see account number up here in the URL. It starts with 86 and it's this number that ends with 80. So I'm just going to find this in the dropdown. And here we go, 86, and it ends with 80. Now, luckily, we've already named it accordingly. But if you didn't name yours well, or you had, for some reason, a lot more ad accounts like we do, then simply find your account number down here and select it and click on continue. And then down here, we're going to use Robin and Jesper's business test pixel, which is the one that I just set up, and then continue. And then if you look down here, there's something that says automatic advanced matching. And basically what this says is that if Facebook should find some other types of sources, maybe that's on your website that they can use, or that's come from other meta sources that they can recognize who the person is visiting your site, they are going to be allowed to use those additional sources to recognize the person. Because when a person enters your website, they look at the IP address and they try to match that IP address with their Facebook account so they know who it actually is that is clicking on your product. So you want to give them all the leverage they can in order to match as well as possible. So we're going to leave this automatic advanced matching on, and then there's nothing else here. Now remember, we didn't set up our Instagram profile. We're going to do that later on, so don't worry about it. It's also not mandatory, but it is beneficial. So scrolling down, I'm just going to click on continue. And now since I'm using WooCommerce, is asking for a bunch of different permissions to basically integrate with your website, and Facebook to integrate with your website, and everything to sync together as a system. Yes, that is exactly what you want in order for the tracking to be as good as it can. So we're going to go down and click on next. And there we go. Now we're all set. So I'm going to click on done. And then it says you just authenticated Facebook. And then they're going to redirect me back to my site. Let's click there. Perfect. So let's return here and we're going to click on next. And this is where we send test traffic to our website, meaning we just installed the pixel. They just told us everything is successful and great, but testing. We can't just take their word for it. We need to see it for ourselves. So I'm just going to write the URL for my website here, which is robinandjesper.com. And then I'm going to send test traffic and see if the pixel registers that traffic. So that's going to take us to our website here. And now I'm just going to head back and see if it registered. So now as we can see, it says active. So sending the test traffic actually worked. Now, some caveats here. If you send your traffic and end up on this website and you notice that it doesn't show active and nothing is happening, chances are that either you just need to wait a few minutes and try again because the pixel hasn't registered. It takes some time for it to activate, just minutes, or you're using some sort of tracking or ad blocker. So make sure that all sort of blockers that you're using deactivate it for this test, because that's going to block the testing itself. So that's just important to know. Once you have it active like this, we're going to go down to next. And then we're going to land here where it says set up events. Now, events are going to be specific things happening on your website. However, when you've installed the pixel and connected it the way we already did, it's going to have everything in it already, and everything is going to be automated. So it's going to recognize when there's an add to cart, when there's a purchase, when there's a page view, etc. And there is a great way for us to test this. Now, if you're running on Chrome, I believe this exists for Safari as well, but it's worth getting Chrome just temporarily for this. Then search for Facebook Pixel Helper and then add that to your Chrome browser. Then make sure that you've activated your Facebook Pixel Helper. Go to the page that you're looking to track and that you've installed the Facebook Pixel. Up here, you're going to see that it's giving us some information. So this is just the product page. Now looking down, it's registering a page view and view content. Very, very good. So for example, if I click on add to cart, it should register an add to cart as well. So now I've added it to cart. Let's look up and it's registering add to cart and page view. So as we can see, this is already working. Now I could drop this down into one, update cart. I could scroll down and proceed to checkout and actually buy one and make sure that this runs as a purchase. But when it's registering add to cart and we've synced it this way, it really is going to be working. The pixel doesn't fail that way, but you can test it should you want to. Just go into sandbox mode if you're using PayPal, or you could lower the price to 0, just have a checkout and test it and then look and see that it's registering. But if you're getting the page views, if you're getting the add to cart, all is well. And that means that we don't need to set up any events here because the events that we need are already registered, and you can customize it further, but you really don't need to. You can add in an event like added in payment information, but all of that is just majoring in the minors. A waste of time. In my opinion, I don't use it. I don't recommend you spend time on it. So I'm gonna click on next. So we've already tested our events. We've seen that they work already from using the Facebook Pixel Helper. So we don't need to test it in there, but you can if you want to verify further. Then I'm going to go down and click on finish. Perfect. So now when we're back here, I'm just going to click here and I'm going to select our pixel. And then the conversion event, what do we want to happen? Well, we want there to be a purchase. Now, don't worry about the warning. It says this event has been prioritized since iOS 14. AdSets using this event may not be delivered to people who opt out of tracking. And that's just the name of the game here. Once again, they have trillions of data points on billions of people. This is the best we can do. Yes, advertising became a little bit harder since Apple released iOS 14, but it doesn't mean that it died. It just means that we changed our tactics and we adopt. So we're going to choose purchase because what we choose is actually what is going to be optimized for. And then it's going to say your pixel isn't ready. We haven't received any activity from your pixel yet, and that is because no one has purchased. Don't worry about it. When you get your first purchase, this is going to show up as green and not all of these scary warnings going on here. But should you test your purchase, this is going to go green right away. But we know at this point that the pixel is installed, the pixel is working, and we can move on. So well done. See you in the next lecture.